In this segment, we're going to talk about ancient technologies, rituals, plants, and the Great Spirit. Long before modern science, ancient civilizations mastered the technology of spirit. Through ceremonies, songs, sacred plants, and the reverent ritual, they tuned their hearts to the Great Spirit, the creative force that animates all life. These practices remind us that technology isn't always mechanical. Sometimes it's ritual, rhythm, and the remembering of our oneness with nature and the divine. So, Michelle, a lot of what you do is based on these technologies, these rituals, these ceremonies, the songs. What can you tell us in your experience that you've seen? You know, what does it do to your soul, to you, and you know, in a general sense, what can you tell us about this?
Those ancient technologies, for me, is this ancestrality of the elder wisdom. And what I refer to elders is the elders of the ancient beings, the ancient ones, as is the ancestrality of God, in a sense, and of the presence of the sacred fire, the sacred water, the sacred wind, and Mother Earth. And through the practice of ritual, which we have here in, every continent and every nation has its rituals, is a form of how we connect to divine, to the natural world, to the spirit world, to the celestial worlds, to the human world, to the animal world, to the mineral world, to the vegetable world, to the angelic world. And many of these rituals are bringing is a mirror of the dance of our solar system being represented in a ceremony. So, for example, our sacred fire, Abuelo Fuego, Tatevari, is the manifestation or the representation. It is a manifestation of the heart of the sun that brings us together in circle to remember, to recall, to pray, to give gratitude, and to connect to the heart of the earth. So it's the spirit of the fire, as we know, the sacred flame, the Trinity flame, transmutes and transforms. If we focus on the sacred fire, the fire is emanating a vibration, and that vibration is a vibration of Great Spirit, the divine. It's like we're opening. It's the opening of the original Wi-Fi.
Yes.
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 This is
Of the true Wi-Fi.
the true Wi-Fi that opens the communication with the Great Spirit, with Source, with God, Creator, whichever name we want to call. And this is how we can communicate through the fire, through ritual, through ceremony. And this has been a very special, blessed path to be able to be walking with elders and receiving teachings, from Toltec tradition, from Maya tradition, from the Red Road, from different traditions and philosophies, Hindu, Buddhist, all we the sacred fire unites all of us.
Yeah, it's. I mean, just to make a quick anecdote. That's what where civilization was created, around the campsite. Yeah, the campsite. You know, I mean, that's where everybody would get together. That's where myth was created. That's where we set our values. You know, and what I talk about myth and the mythical archetype. That's where we shared who we were, and that's where we envisioned who we wanted to be, and that's where we found our values, you know. And I mean, yes, God reveals Himself to us, but we do also have that yearning, and through those communications and through those connections, through the fire, within the fire, you know, and that circle is how we created civilization as well.
Exactly. Yes, this is why, as I mentioned at the beginning, for me, this is the ancient beings are the elements.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this ancient technology, because each ceremony has a design. And here, as we say, I have been able to walk with many different nations and paths, and I honor each one of them. But and each design is a technology, because through this design of the way we circle, or of what elements are brought out in what moment, is that there is a sacred geometry that is being uh, planted in the
Mm-hmm.
space, which opens up the channels to be able to receive the teachings of the spirit world, that connects to our hearts. And this is where we have these aha moments, because it's something that doesn't come through word. It comes through this feeling, this knowingness
Mm-hmm.
that spirit has touched me, has touched my heart. The mountains, the rocks, the water. The water carries memory. Imagine all the memory that is within the water of all the civilizations. And then this water, which crystallizes, then we carry in our crystals.
Yes.
So imagine we are carrying millions of years of wisdom. If we tap into that energy field, then this can activate a memory within our DNA. So we have all these elements around us that are speaking to us. The trees, the trees have witnessed.
The sacred plants, I mean, all the mycelium, all the interconnectedness that, you know, the fungi bring to the rest of the plant world and its connectedness, you know?
Well, this exactly. Well, this is the element of Mother Earth that has brought to us sacred plants that, in a ceremonial space, activate our consciousness, that we are able to see, to remember. And in Mexico we have hickory, we have Teononacat, the mycelium, we have the sacred tobacco. There's many plants, even in the herbal medicine also, and in many different parts of the world. It is the manifestation of Mother Earth that,
Mm-hmm.
through plant medicine, is bringing a teaching to us. And if and this, it's so beautiful, because for many years we have had this separation of the science world and the medical world and the spiritual world and plant medicines, and now we see the quantum aspect of the power that there is in the plant world, that connects us to remember, to be able to, mm, I see it as it's as a rite of passage. This is what the ceremonies bring, in the rites of passage, and it's a long life path. It's not like taking a certification.
Yeah, you did the ceremony. No, that ceremony is a stone, no, a step in the path. Let's say it. that way.
Yes, and really, I mean, I can only share from my experiences, in the Temazcal, the sweat lodge. What is a representation? A representation of the universe, which is the dome, and
Yeah.
each space where we are sitting, we are representing a system, a constellation of the universe.
Yeah.
And what do we have? The sacred, the lava, the volcano stones that come into the heart of the womb, that are
Hmm.
lit by the sacred fire, and these grandmother stones, volcano stones, are able to reach that temperature of the sun. So it's, again, in the sweat lodge, we are bringing this technology of the heart of the sun into the womb of the earth. And this is working on all levels of our being: physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual, cosmic, galactic. There's all these aspects of our being that we cannot see with our eyes. And this is why these ancient technologies that our ancestors have brought to us are, I feel that, they've come out for all of us to be able to remember and to come into ceremony, or to, go to a vision quest, or go to a sun dance, or to the moon dance, or be in a fire ceremony, in a plant medicine ceremony, uh, because these technologies really is that connection.
Yeah. You mentioned the temazcal, and I did have a lot of experiences in the temazcal, and what I like about the representation, and you can also see it as an archetype of what you're being represented of that ceremony, and the ceremony is that it's see it as an archetype that is of a representation of something, and this is a birth, it's the womb. You mentioned the womb. It's really, we're all in there, and it's not that it's a baby or it's a human, but it's a unity, and a lot of what happens there is you go through this process, and like a lot of the concept of how the fire tempers your soul, and how that really, gets all the impurities and gets it really purifies you, and not only with water but also through fire, which is much more strong. It's stronger, but that process of the sweat lodge, I remember you go through a phase where you feel like you're going to suffocate, right? And that's part of the point. It gets to a point where you still get scared, and especially afterwards, the process, and that's the interesting thing. You get to know the process, but at the moment, I remember it's you get the feeling of your fear of even claustrophobia. But once you release that, because the word is release, you release that fear, you release that, and you and understand that you're part of something, that it's and even the bad thing, or that frightening thing, is part of that process. Boom, everything dissolves and you connect, and then you start even to enjoy it, and you even go into a trance state, and that's what happens in the sweat lodge. You go through a mental process that purifies you in a way that nothing else does, and that's why they were so commonly used, not only in Mesoamerica but as well as the Native Americans in the United States, because they did this, right?
Yes, well, it's a whole, as I mentioned, each ceremony has its design, and this design is a process of death and rebirth. It's
Hmm.
a transformational process, so it's the physical aspect of our being that is dense. So first we work with the physical, then we go into, the emotional. That
Hmm. And that physical good thing generates that emotional. It's a sequence of right.
Yes, and then we have the mental, where we need to stop the monkey mind, to be humble. This is why we come into the womb, not to come back to this humbleness where we surrender, we release. And with this release is the unity of love. And no, so it's like, we go from fear to love. This happens a lot in many ceremonies, not only the Temazcal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you go in without knowing what's gonna happen, what's going to present. Uh, like we never
Yeah,
know what
exactly.
is going to show up for us.
Yeah.
And then uh, it brings us to the space of pure love and unity, and to remember that uh, we are human celestial beings.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly. We were talking about the galactic or the cosmic fingerprint, or the galactic print, let's call it, that we have. And these ceremonies bring us to that, in the realization of that, and that essence. And that's in these process, and these ceremonies, it's where we understand ourselves a lot, and we kind of, clear. And I think it's part of what we were saying. We understand our essence, our real nature, individual nature. I think it's very important that the better you understand your individual nature, and that you realize that it's not the same as, although it might be similar, it's not the same path, and it's not the same personality, it's not the same destiny as others. So once you can understand yourself, and you can transcend, you can be better through, and not only within yourself but outside, and you start projecting that, and you start living that, not only for yourself but with others. So it's really important, these rituals and these ancient technologies, what they bring to us. And like you said, sometimes it's hard lessons, and it's fear, because you don't know if it's going to teach you a hard lesson, an easy lesson, and what's going to happen, right?
Yes, but these are sometimes the challenges that come as blessings in disguise, to give us a little push, and to
Exactly.
lower our head down again to earth. And as we say, the Toltec is the art of learning to be human.
Nice. I like it. I like it. And one of the seals that's very important in the progression, in the 20 seals of destiny, is the human, and that's part of what we are. It's becoming human. It's interesting, and we don't know how to be humans. I think it's something that we need to learn.
Mm, That's exactly. Well, this is what brings us to step into mm, these ancient rituals that have been kept for m- millennium in the nations and tribes. And then they've opened up now to come now into the cities.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
to,
To be
to
to be within, with everybody. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And gives us a little,
a push.
it's like divine saying, okay, we're gonna send you this, so maybe you can catch the signs.
Exactly, exactly. And it's a lot of the times it's catching the signs. It's understanding the signs. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're done. We're finished with this segment. But before we finish, I want to share this, and this is something very dear, because Michelita gave me this, and you've seen it when I have my background. It's part of what I have there in my furniture. But this is I'm talking about ancient technologies. This is my power stone, and this Michelita gave it to me about 20 years ago, maybe somewhere. I don't know. And this is what I use when I go to rituals, when I perform, things, especially on body. And it has a lot of energy. It has a lot of power, and I've used it in a very, very specific times in my life. And it always comes with me. So just wanted to say that this, I thank you for this, and it's my wizard's stone, let's say, in a way. On the Divine Within podcast, we'll share real conversations to help you find a personal connection with God. My goal is to support your faith, growth, and journey toward discovering the divine within yourself. Join us to deepen your faith and spiritual journey.